So awesome question. Yeah, we talked about this in our meditation this morning. Stacy has a tremendous amount of experience in the startup world. And it's very real that the energy that exists in the startup world is this fast pace. We got to go, we got to get things done, we got to move. Everybody's got to play 8,000 roles. And if you hear me talk about it, you can feel the energy in that is rushed. And one of the things that I talked about is quality over quantity. And I think when we are in a hurried mode and in this mode of I got to get it done, we end up with more quantity sometimes than quality. Well, what does that have to do with meditation and slowing down? Everything. Because if I know how to slow down and pause, then whatever it is that I'm getting done, the tasks or the end game, the job, whatever it is that I need to get done, I am likely not being in a fast-paced, gas pedal to the floor mode. I'm likely going to think much more clearly and carefully about how I spend my energy. And it's the same notion of working smarter, not harder. And this is why. If I have a practice every day of slowing down, then it's not foreign to me to slow down a little bit. And in that fast-paced environment where everybody's making a lot of decisions all at once, I have the capacity to slow things down enough. Imagine, get a 360 view. I'm slowing down enough, kind of like putting everything on pause and in real time walking around and looking at it and going, oh, now I can see maybe. And now how you choose to respond to it is exactly what you need instead of trial and error 10 times before we figure it out. Now I've wasted time, money, and resources because I don't know how to slow the heck down. But learning how to slow down will allow me to produce a whole lot more quality over quantity. And in the end, isn't that really what we want?
Yeah. So I'm sold. I'm gonna start doing meditation. I'm already sold, by the way. I've started my practice, which it is a practice. It takes practice. So from a practical standpoint, last question today is, okay, I want to start this tomorrow. I know it's the weekend, but what better day to start a healthy practice? Or even this afternoon, you're winding down your work day. What's your best advice for how people can just get started with a meditation practice?
Yeah, perfect. A lot of people think meditation means, and it certainly can. And no judgment to however people meditate. There are many, many forms of meditation, and they all bring beautiful and gainful opportunity. What I love about the type of meditation I use, is that it is very practical and relevant to my daily life. My intention with meditation is to learn how to slow down so that I can become aware of the way that I'm operating, the programs that are running, the things that I'm thinking about, and how I'm choosing to respond to everything that comes up so that I can get better at changing that path. If what I'm doing is chaotic, I need to learn how to slow down and create a rhythm in my life. So you don't have to sit still in the beginning, and you don't have to stop your mind in the beginning. You will get to a point where it gets a little bit easier. But in the beginning, imagine if you could just become aware of how things are working. If you could be the non-critical observer, that's the best way to get into meditation, because it's also going to allow you to not be so critical about how you're not doing it right. I think most people would agree that it's more important to get started and get your hands dirty, to gain some experience in something, rather than to talk about it to death and never do it, and therefore never even understand how much it can help you. So sit down for a minute. Stop, slow down, pause in your life for a moment, just to respect the fact that how you think and how you feel every day does affect what you're doing. So let's take some time to figure out how it is that we do think and how it is that we do feel, so that we can respond with more quality in our world. So sit down, slow down. And for some people, maybe it helps. I do guided meditations because it helps people, especially in the beginning, when our minds want to go all over the place. My goal is to kind of help keep corralling the mind in a direction. So then you learn how to do that. You learn how to focus on one thing and to continue that pattern, that thought pattern on it. And that's kind of what we're doing in work and at home anyway, except that we get distracted a million times and then we don't get done what we want. So just learning to do that. Sit down, focus on one thing, and begin practicing to do that. So, yeah.
And I think it's, I've had a lot of people ask me about how I started, and, if you have an Apple Watch, that thing where it tells you to breathe, that was done intentionally by design, because it's shown from a biochemical standpoint to stop and take a deep breath. So to Bri's point, what I would do when my watch prompted me, so very Pavlovian of us, right, is to stop in that moment and do a 6 count in and a 6 count out breath for just a minute. You know, that's how I started, but I think to Bri's point, it doesn't even have to be that complicated. Set an Outlook calendar invite, to have an accountability buddy and send each other a text at 3:33 or 5:55, or that's something for us. Like we have magic numbers when all the numbers are the same, or 11:11. That's the gold standard. And just in that moment with your accountability buddy, promise each other and yourself that you're going to take, even if it's just a minute, to focus on your breath and focus on one thing, you know, whatever that one thing is. So
one more thing, if I could add, Stace, breath. A lot of people like to make this whole idea of breathing woo-woo. Okay, I get it. We can go all kinds of depth with that. But let's just stay with breath is something you have to do to live every single day. And if you can do it a little bit more consciously, a little bit more frequently, notice that. How is your breath every day when you're panicked or stressed or overwhelmed? It's heavier, it's labored, it's not slow. How is our breath when we feel really, really good? I want you to think for a second about maybe sipping on a pina colada with an umbrella in it. And most people go, why? Because the understanding, it is inherent, it is known within us that slowing our breath down, just being attentive to it, does help us to feel better. That's simple. So even like Stacy said, if your beginning of meditation was simply just to focus on your breath for a moment, then you already are creating a healthy daily practice. I wanted to ask you one question.
yeah.
So you've started meditating recently, right? And I want to ask this because here we are. This is somebody who's been in the business world for a very long time, created a lot of success, been around a lot of people who operate at a very high level, operating under a lot of stress. You're a mom also, so you have to navigate that at home. You're dealing with everything from all different angles. How has meditation, since you've started doing it, and by meditation, just to be clear, sitting down, taking some time to be intentional and breathe and really focus on something, how has that helped you in real time?
For me, it gives me permission to take space and to slow down, which is, I said this morning, my life's work is to slow down and be selective and be focused. And so the earliest part for me was in moments where my life felt like it was falling apart, and I've had some of those instances in the last 6 months. To understand what's happening, first of all, recognize, and then second of all, just take that breath. And it sounds so to be like woo, hokey, whatever, and we know, but somebody I know well that is fairly new in my life told me I taught him how to breathe for the first time in his life. And what he means by that is he never stopped and took the inhale and the exhale in the moment with intention of staying right there in the space. And I think when it comes to partners, for example, breathing with each other, we won't go down that rabbit hole right now, but breathing with each other can be an incredibly connective practice for each other, because you're really connecting on a level of just staying right where you are without distraction.
Presence.
Presence.
Breath creates presence. And I think everybody knows in this technological age, when we're at our phones all the time, that we are much better and much more capable, and our quality is much better, and our confidence is much higher when we are right there. Simply with kids, imagine when you are focused on them 100%, they feel best. So imagine how the other people in your home or the people at work feel too. Presence. Breath makes you be present, and being present allows you to do 1,000 times better with what you're focusing on.
So thank you. We're just under the wire. If you want to see the unedited version of this, you can go on the YouTube channel at the link. Otherwise, got to stay under 10 minutes for LinkedIn, so we're right there. We're both wishing you a beautiful and happy weekend, and take some deep breaths this weekend, and we'll see you again next Wednesday for Human Resilience.